What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Believe in Miami Heat, brought to you by the BLEAV Network. As always, I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. And my watch says that it's Yappy Hour. So we will be talking about a lot today, but including a lot of Heat stuff like Brandon Ingram, Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, Josh Richardson. But timestamps are down below if you want to find the topic that you're interested in, because a lot happened today. Now, I guess I should start for the people that are new here, which there is a lot of people because the channel has had great growth in the last few days since the draft. But this is my long form podcast. I have an audio version on all your platforms, Spotify, Apple Pod, etc. I put the videos up here on YouTube. And once a week or so, I like to do just these no edits or low edit long form podcasts where I just get to sit down and talk to y'all, have an engaging conversation about all things Heat and just everything else going on. And I guess I should say it's technically a podcast with Mario Chalmers. We had a couple episodes, one on Zoom, one in person. It was really dope, but he's just a busy guy. But maybe we'll reconnect one day. But yeah, I had a very busy day myself, and I promise I will get the Zyon Pullin video out. I know a lot of people have been asking for me to talk about the other two-way player that was signed today, because I did get a video out on Kashad Johnson, which I am super excited about him. If y'all haven't seen that, go check it out. But he is basically a PJ Tucker with Derrick Jones Jr. athleticism. That's how I describe him. But I was sitting here and I was working on, some videos and scripts and stuff. But we had plans to go hoop at this indoor gym at 8 o'clock. Every time I'm back home in Fort Lauderdale over here, me and the boys, we like to rent out this indoor gym. And we just get like our own private runs, cap it at 15. It's a good time, right? And today was actually really fun there. I played pretty well. It was good. Maybe I'll show some highlights while I'm talking here. So if you're on the audio side, this is a good excuse to come over to the YouTube, check out the video as well, and at least hit subscribe. But yeah, I'll probably make some hoop mixtape, some small YouTube short hoop mixtape that y'all may see in a week or whatever. But anyways, today was good, but there was this one guy there that was annoying the living hell out of me. He was one of those dudes that likes to play very physical. Every time he drives, he drops his shoulder into you. Every time he tries to get around your screen, he's shoving you. And he just plays very physical. But here's the thing, though. I'm cool with that. If you want to play physical, I am down. I think it's fun. You play physical, you bump bodies, and at the end of the game, you dap each other up. That's what basketball is. It is a contact sport. But the people that I don't like is the people that like to drop their shoulder into you. And then when you do it back or try to defend yourself, they cry and whine and call foul 1,000 times. And that's what happened today with this dude. It wasn't my homeboy. I had only seen him like once before at these runs that we do. Someone else invited him. But y'all know the type of dude I'm talking about. I'm sure you do. There's one at every court, but we ended up lighting his ass up. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I dropped like 8 points in the game winner on his head. So it was a good time. It was also a good time because coincidentally, I met a former Heat player there. And if I give y'all a million guesses, you would never guess who it was. Go ahead, try. Comment down below the most random Heat player that you can think of. Ready? You were wrong. It was Henry Walker, formerly known as Bill Walker. Now, it's not surprising that I ran into him there because my boy Will, that plays at this gym more often, saw him there earlier, a few weeks ago, because he actually coaches a team that trains there. So I was hyped that he was still there today when I was there because I wanted to say what's up to him. And of course, if y'all don't remember, Henry Walker only played like 24 games for the Heat, but he had one of the most memorable games you can ever remember. Some crazy comeback versus the Orlando Magic where he like went off in the last 60 seconds. Some of y'all may remember what I'm talking about. But anyways, so I saw Henry Walker there and I went up to him and I said, hey, I'm a Heat fan. I appreciate what you do. And I dapped him up and I said, I will never forget that Orlando Magic game. And then Henry started dying laughing. And I'm like, you know which one I'm talking about? And he's like, yep, I do. And then I told him, I said, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you also killed Miami when you were with the Knicks one time too, right? And he looked at me and he's like, yeah, I did. And then he started dying laughing. But I told him, I mess with him. He's a cool dude. I appreciate what he does. Enjoy your night. So it was like a minute interaction, but he was smiling, ear to ear. He was laughing the whole time. I could tell that I really made his night by, one, recognizing him, but also remembering some of his work because I did like Henry Walker. I felt like he had a pretty nice stint here, as a Miami Heat. I feel like he was a decent enough shooter. But it was a good time. Good runs today. And that's why I'm coming to you. I'm literally recording this at 1 a.m. on, I guess, technically Saturday morning. That's why I wanted to come to y'all with more of a chill episode. So I have some more time to work on my script for like a Zyon Pullin video and some more Khalil Ware stuff that I have going on. But yeah, the reason I should say that I did hoop so well today is because I got a fresh haircut, man. I don't know if y'all noticed, man, but my beard looking right. The side look at the fade is clean. And I have to shout out my boy Frankie, a.k.a. Cut Sesh, who cuts out of the Players Lounge in Davie. So listen, if y'all are in the Broward County area and you need a cut, I know you do because I know a lot of y'all looking musty. I'm kidding. I should not say that about the people watching this. But hit up my boy Frankie, a.k.a. Cut Sesh. He is the best barber in all of Broward County. Once again, cuts out of the Players Lounge in Davie, Florida. So shout out to him. Make sure to hit up my boy if you want the best cut and you want to hoop on the court like I did today, because that's how good a barber he is. He got special powers. But all his stuff is linked down below, so make sure you reach out to him and set up an appointment if you are in the Broward area. Frankie, shout out to you, my boy, because now I can at least go a couple days without getting a comment about my mustache. I know my mustache is not good, but the reason I don't shave it off is because I literally look like a child without facial hair. And plus, like I said, after Frankie lines it up, it looks pretty good for a couple days until I screw it up myself by trying to trim it. And I'm just not very good at cutting my facial hair, which is patchy as is. But anyways, before I was actually getting ready to hoop today, we had an 8 o'clock reservation for the court. The Dejounte Murray news broke, essentially. That happened like right around 7-ish p.m. And obviously the big news is that Dejounte Murray was traded from the Hawks to the New Orleans Pelicans for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, and I believe 2 first-round picks. Now, I wanted to get a video out about that right away and stuff, but I posted a couple YouTube shorts to kind of share my thoughts, but I feel like I should kind of explain more, so that's kind of what I want to do here right now. Now, a thing I saw a lot of Heat fans, saying, I even tweeted it out myself, is the Miami Heat could have beaten that. And yes, I certainly think they could have beaten that because I do believe now they have 2 tradable first-round picks again, because since the 2024 pick was made, I believe now 2031 now opens, and I think that is now a tradable pick. But either way, you still could have sent Tyler Hero. You could have sent Khalil Ware, who I know we like as Heat fans, but he just got here yesterday. Literally, his introductory press conference was today. Seems like a great kid, by the way. I really, really do like Khalil Ware, but I would have sent Khalil Ware, Tyler Hero in a first-round pick, or Tyler Hero and 2 first-round picks. I think that's better than Larry Nance, Dyson Daniels, and 2 firsts, personally. Obviously, if the Heat really loved Dejounte Murray, they could have attached Jovic or Jaime, but I might have did it for Dejounte Murray. I don't know. I'm just kind of at the point now as a Heat fan where anything is better than running it back. And I love Trae Young, but the fit with Dejounte Murray might also be better. So I don't know. It's a bit of a dilemma. But that does beg the question, kind of an instant reaction when I saw the Dejounte Murray trade news is what's next for Brandon Ingram and what's next for Trae Young? Because those are 2 guys that we've heard a ton of trade rumors about over the last several months, really the last year or so. And my initial, kind of thought when I was thinking what's next for Trae Young is either the Hawks now want to build around Trae Young or trading Dejounte was step 1 of blowing it up completely. And step 2 is now trading Trae Young to get even more assets. And kind of what that reminds me of is I remember when the Jazz traded Rudy Gobert. I said, oh no, does that mean that they picked Mitchell and they want to build around Mitchell? And that's why they got rid of Gobert? And then, of course, very shortly after, they traded Donovan Mitchell to the Cavaliers. So I do think that there's potential that the Atlanta Hawks might be doing the same thing. And that means that Trae Young could be on the market very, very soon, especially since you consider the package that they got for Dejounte Murray. They got a young guard and picks. Those are not win-now moves. So to me, that kind of portrays the direction that the Hawks want to go in. And if that's the case, the Miami Heat should be calling Landry Fields right now. Yes, Landry Fields is the GM of the Atlanta Hawks. The old player that played for the Knicks, he had the pregame ritual with Jeremy Lin, that Landry Fields. So the Heat should be calling his line right now saying, what do you want for Trae Young? Here you go. Because as a Heat fan, I would give up quite a bit for Trae Young. I'd give up Tyler, Ware, all the picks. Definitely one of Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic. Maybe both. Probably not both. Listen, before you comment, I know you're not going to like I said that. I take it back. I'd give up one of the two kids. I really would. Probably Jaime Jaquez, just because, and I like Jaquez, love Jaquez. Y'all know I love Jaime Jaquez Jr. But if you're getting Trae Young, you're obviously getting pretty small, and I would like to at least keep the size that Nikola Jovic brings, even though Jovic is a ball handler, and so is Trae Young, but Jovic could spot up better for Trae Young's passing. There's so much to love about Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic. Deciding which one to trade is literally like picking which one of my kids to send away. Like, it's tough. It's a really tough decision. But point is, I really like Trae Young and his fit on the Miami Heat. He has been very polarizing. I think you either hate it or love it, because the Heat fans that love it, like myself, say, hey, this Heat team can't score. Trae Young has led a top 10 offense almost every single year he's been in the NBA. Last year, the Hawks were 12th, but he was hurt a lot of the season. But the years before that, they were like 4th, 7th, 8th, 6th. So every year he's led a top 10 offense. And for a Heat team that was scoring under 90 points the final 3 games of the season, I want to see this offense get better. And I think that's something that we can all agree on. And Trae Young brings that. He's a guy that can score 50 points on any given night, allowing Jimmy Butler to kind of do what he does and coast in the regular season. Let's say preserve his body. That's the nicer way to put it. Although Jimmy Butler's in a contract year. We'll talk about that later. But still, it allows Jimmy Butler to not have to go balls to the walls every single night because Trae Young can score. But more importantly, Trae Young is an elite with a capital E facilitator. So he will make everyone else's jobs easier, especially your franchise cornerstone in Bam Adebayo, who you're now locked down for another 3 years at almost $60 million. Imagine what Trae Young is going to do for him. Being able to finally have a guy that can do pick and rolls, that can do pick and lobs. I know Terry Rozier is not bad at it, but Trae Young is elite. There is levels to this. He will find Bam Adebayo in the dunker spot, find him mid-range, find him at the three-point line, for God's sake, because he is that good a passer with that good a vision, and he knows how to run an offense. And the people that are against Trae Young say, well, he's not a Heat culture guy because he's one of the worst defenders in the entire league. And that's also not an exaggeration. But I would like to believe that Trae Young in this Heat system, with the defensive coach of Eric Spoelstra and the schemes that he's ran for Tyler Hero, who also is bad at defense, mind you. It's not like they're sending out a great defender for a bad one. No, it's, pretty lateral there. I do think Spoelstra could do a good enough job hiding Trae Young on defense, especially if you were ever going to put Trae Young on a team that could help his defense. It would be a team that has Jimmy Butler, that has Bam Adebayo, that has, if you could resign Haywood Highsmith, that has DeLon Wright already. They just, Josh Richardson just picked up his player option. That's another very good point of attack defender. So obviously the Miami Heat have guys that can play defense, that can cover up for Trae Young, and I just think it is a perfect fit. So I would absolutely love Trae Young in the team so bad, and I hope he's on the team by the end of the week. I would rather go all in on Trae Young right now and scoop him than wait and sit around and see if Donovan Mitchell's on the move or not, because that seems to be the plan at this point. Now, to the other side of things, you also have Brandon Ingram, because there's been a lot of trade rumors about him that the Pelicans might want to let him go. But then I saw that they traded for Dejounte Murray. So to me, that signaled a win now move. So in my head, I'm thinking, well, the Pelicans don't want to trade Brandon Ingram anymore. They got a core 4. They got CJ, they got Dejounte, they got Brandon, they got Zyon. But then Woj puts out the tweet that says the Pelicans are committed to building around CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson, and nobody. No mention of Brandon Ingram. So it still does sound like that team is looking to offload him. And I would like Brandon Ingram on the Heat. Obviously, skill-wise, he's great because he is also a great scorer and provides size. And the Heat are still obviously looking to get bigger. That just started with Khalil Ware. But the injury concerns are pretty big. And for a Heat team that already led the league and missed games, due to injury last season, and sending out Tyler Hero, who's very injury-prone, and getting Brandon Ingram, who's even more injury-prone, that's something that does slightly concern me. Now, Ingram hasn't been a guy that's always gotten hurt like Zion, even though Zion was actually healthy last year, coincidentally. But there is still, lingering injuries because Brandon Ingram was not himself last year. He was dealing with a lot of injuries and obviously wasn't all that great. So that does scare me. But at the end of the day, my mindset this offseason is anything is better than running it back. So if you can get Brandon Ingram, especially if it's for a package similar to the value of Dejounte Murray, 1 young player and 2 picks, Tyler Hero 2 picks, I would do that all day. Now, if you're saying we have to trade one of the kids, Jaquez or Jovic specifically, I'd be a little bit more hesitant. So kind of summarize everything. Trae Young could possibly be on the move. We're waiting to see if Atlanta wants to blow it up or build around Trae. I would go all in on Trae, pretty much, for all intents and purposes. Brandon Ingram, it does look like he's on the move. I think his value will be less. So for that reason, I do think he's maybe the more realistic option. And I suppose I kind of do like that as well. The other news we got today, almost at the same exact time, is Josh Richardson picked up his player option for a couple $1 million, like $3 million. Not surprising. It kind of does suck for Jay Rich because he took less money last offseason to sign with the Miami Heat in hopes of rebuilding his value on the market, and then obviously opt out of his player option this summer and sign elsewhere for more money. I think that was the goal with Jay Rich, but he did deal with some injuries early on in the season. Then he, broke his shoulder to end the season, didn't play the rest of the regular season, missed the playoffs, and for that reason, his market value is kind of the same. So that's why he's going to kind of opt into the final year of his deal here and then basically run it back. I know those words scare Heat fans, the phrase run it back, but I think Jay Rich is going to try to have a contract year himself and then likely re-sign elsewhere next season for more money. Obviously, we love Jay Rich. I'm very happy that he's staying. They can use what he brings because when he was healthy last year, he was hitting his mid-range shots. He was hitting his three-pointers. He was bringing the defense that you like to see. Not as good as, rookie Jay Rich and year 2 Jay Rich, but he was still very solid on that end. And obviously, as a Heat team that might be losing Caleb Martin, maybe Hayward Highsmith, you could really use Josh Richardson. So that's kind of the plan with him. Now, speaking of Caleb Martin, he's one of 3 guys that's actually on Sunday or Saturday at 5 p.m. They have to decide if they want to accept their player option with Miami. So by the time you're watching this, maybe we already know. I mean, the first guy is Caleb Martin, obviously. We kind of know he's going to opt out. His player option is only for like $7 million. I think he can get at least 15 on the open market. I really do. It depends because I think most contenders would want him, and those are the teams that don't have cap space. So now maybe you're talking about a sign and trade, whether he can get some assets and maybe get a piece in return. That'll be something that I'm very interested to see. But I think we'll find out very soon. Like I said, maybe even by the time you're watching this. Another guy is Kevin Love. He has a player option for $4 million. I think he either accepts it or declines it and re-signs with the Heat. Kind of the same deal. 2-year, $8 million, second-year player option. Essentially what he did last year. I could see him re-upping it. And for that case, the same with Thomas Bryant, who also has a $2.8 million player option. I don't see him getting more on the open market, so he will either accept or re-sign a similar deal with the Miami Heat. And obviously, I want to keep K-Love. I like what he brings to this team. Veteran leadership, hits the 3, rebounds. I think he had a good season last year when healthy. And Thomas Bryant, as a minimum big, I'm cool with that too. You're still going to need like a 3rd string big. I know they got Orlando Robinson, who I think is okay as well. But Thomas Bryant was fine. People that were mad at Thomas Bryant last year, they just had too unrealistic expectations. I mean, you know who you get with minimum bigs? You get Cody Zeller, you get Dwayne Dedmon, you get Omer Yurtseven. And he was way better. Thomas Bryant was way better than those 3. So I'd be cool with Thomas Bryant being, your backup big. If he has to play when guys get hurt, get in foul trouble, I think he can contribute. We've seen him bring energy for 10 minutes a game, in certain spurts. I do not mind if the Heat hold on to Thomas Bryant. And lastly here, we got to talk about Jimmy Butler because the big news broke a couple days ago now, essentially saying that he is not going to sign an extension with the Miami Heat or any other team. Everybody freaked out thinking that means he's going to walk for nothing. You got to trade him, but now you can't trade him because other teams are not going to give you good value because they think he might just walk in the offseason. That's not what's going on here. Essentially what happened is kind of what I hoped. I'm shocked it happened, but it sounds like it did, is the Heat told Jimmy Butler, hey, we got concerns about your health. We don't want to give you this money now. And I think Jimmy said, you know what? you're right. I did coast last year. I did miss the playoffs. The least I can do is ball out next year. And then instead of signing an extension for another year, I could sign a 4-year contract now, which I think gives him an extra 2 years, if that's correct. Maybe if the years aren't the same, I do know he would get more money that way. So essentially, to kind of recap, his options are, sign an extension right now or finish out this season. He also has a player option next year, technically. So if things go very bad, he could just opt into that player option. But the more likely case scenario, now that we know he's not getting extended, is he will play out this season, decline his player option, and then re-sign on a 3 or 4 year contract, whatever the maximum years is that allows him. And the point is, though, he wants to re-sign with the Miami Heat. He just wants to bet on himself, bet that he will have an amazing season, and that way he can get more money next season. And I like that approach. Because if you're the Miami Heat, there was a lot of concerns on how much Jimmy Butler has left in the tank because of the injuries, because of the lackadaisical play last season. So at least now we get to see if that was a fluke, if he can bounce back, if he can get back to playoff Jimmy form and carry this team. I mean, if they win a championship, give him whatever the hell he wants. I don't care. I'll bite the bullet. But even if he's still very great in the postseason, that makes you feel a little bit better as the Miami Heat to give him his money and extend him until he is 38 years old. There's no debate that by the time he's 38, it's not going to be a good deal. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to lock the guy in right now. But at least if they wait the season out, maybe they feel more confident that Jimmy has another year or two left of his prime. So that's kind of all I got to say related to the Miami Heat. I think that pretty much covers all the news. I do want to say, y'all see I got the Florida Panthers championship shirt on for all the people going to the parade on Sunday. Make sure y'all safe. Make sure y'all have a great time. I know the Panthers have been lit as hell. I saw the Stanley Cup at the Club 11 in Miami. I see Kachuk going crazy. Barkov starting. Barkov chants in the club. You love to see it. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I thought I might go to the parade. I don't think I will. It's just going to be so hot. I told myself the next Heat parade, I'm definitely going. I've been saying that for 10 years now because I didn't go to any of the last Heat parades because I was pretty young. But the next Heat parade, I'll suck it up. I'll be hot outside. I'm definitely going to that. The Panthers one, I'll probably pass for now. But if you are going, have a great time. Be safe. And I think that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe because I do greatly appreciate it. We are on pace to smash that 5K subs by the start of next season. But let's not take anything for granted. Make sure y'all sub because that still is the goal here. And if you made it to this point of the video, which is now almost 23 minutes in, go ahead and comment Kashad Johnson is the GOAT. Let's do that. Then I'll favorite your comment and let y'all know that it lets me know that y'all are real ones, man, and show extra appreciation to you. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.